This is a question that I have been asked probably at least 100 times, if not more, since I've been working as a real estate agent here in Florida, and that is, when is the best time of year to move to Florida? So today I'm going to be answering that question for you. A lot of people commonly believe that the answer to this question is summertime. And the logic to this answer is because they think that since there's not as many snowbirds here, that you're going to be able to get a better deal on an apartment or something like that. And the reality is that's not actually true. It is sort of true, but only in certain circumstances, and that's what I'm going to break down for you so you can really understand, the dynamic of how that works, because there are some intricacies to this that you might not have thought about. If you want to get the best deal, that's really understandable. You want to save some money. But the real answer to that might not actually be what time of year you're going to move here. It could just be more or less where you're looking to move and how much of a hurry you're in and those sort of things. So a lot of people think that summer is the best time to move here, and that's only true if you're looking for a short-term rental. And what I mean by short-term is any lease that's less than 6 months, because that's really what's considered a short-term rental here in Florida. And if that's the type of rental that you're looking for just to stay here seasonally, like in the wintertime, then yes, summer will be your best time to move here because you're going to have a lot more options. All of those short-term rentals will be vacated by all the snowbirds and people that were staying here during the winter season. However, if you are looking to move here long term and make the move for good, you're coming down here from up north like a lot of you guys are and like I did, and you just want to start a new life here, I really think it doesn't matter what time of year you move here. You're not going to pay more for a rental if you come in the wintertime versus the summertime, and here is why. The simple reason is because if you come here any time of the year and you're looking for a long-term rental, usually those places that you're looking at, the long-term leases that are a year or longer, are not going to be in relation or any direct competition to those short-term rentals. Let's use this old building that I used to live in, for example, the Collins here in Miami Beach. That building allows you to rent the unit 4 times per year for 30 days minimum, okay? So they do allow short-term rentals there, and people can rent for the season in that building. But here's the thing. Every single rental that's available there is not a short-term rental. It's up to that specific owner of that property if they're looking to rent their place short-term or not. So usually you'll have 2 sets of landlords. You'll have one set that really wants to keep renting short-term and try to make as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. And then you'll have another type of landlord that doesn't want to deal with the riffraff and the in and out and the constant turnover and all of those sort of things. And those landlords are just interested in renting long-term to you. They don't want to rent short-term, so they're not going to be asking short-term rental prices, because the short-term rental price is always going to be a lot higher. You're going to pay a premium for having the convenience of the luxury of coming here. The entire place is already furnished. You're probably going to have some utilities included, like cable and internet, maybe even the electricity in some of them. So all of those things add up to, plus the fact that you're only going to be staying for a few months, and people know that that's the time of year they can really capitalize, because people are definitely going to be coming here no matter what in the winter time. And landlords aren't stupid, that's when they charge extra for a short-term rental. And to go back to the example of the Collins, the building that I used to live in, the market value for that rental right now would be right around $1,800 a month. However, for someone that was looking to rent that same apartment short-term, that landlord could probably easily get $2,400, maybe even $2,500 a month if the place is completely furnished. They include all the utilities and just make it as easy as possible for somebody to come and stay there for just a few months. And since I am a realtor here, I have helped hundreds of people move to Florida over the years, in the summer, the winter, pretty much any time. And to be honest, for everybody that's moved here who's looking for a long-term lease, I've never once seen someone pay more depending on what time of year it is. But with that being said, there are a couple of factors that I want to mention that could influence the price a little bit if you're moving here in the winter when all the snowbirds are coming. Let's say you have a landlord that has a yearly rental but it's been vacant for a few months and they're not getting anybody in there because down here we have a lot of places for rent most of the time. So it can be difficult to rent your place if it doesn't look the best, or you're asking too much money, the view is crappy, or whatever, something like that, right? So let's say you have this landlord and they are tired of having the place empty and they want to get it rented. So their building allows them to do short-term rentals like the Collins. So what they'll do is sometimes they'll actually furnish it all up and get somebody in there short term to at least make some money instead of no money. If you have enough people doing that, what happens is it can eliminate some of the long-term rental inventory, making the picking slimmer, so it can be harder to find a place, and therefore it might drive the prices up a little bit for a long-term rental. But I don't see that happening too often here. I've seen it happen a couple of years when inventory was really tight, but it's not really common for that to happen. The only other way that I've seen people get a little bit better deal in the summer than the winter is like this. Let's say you have a lot of people moving here to Florida in the winter time because coincidentally they're all just sick of the cold northern winters, and people typically move to Florida in the winter to get away from the cold. I mean, even I did. I moved to Florida at the beginning of January in 2008, so dead of winter, 0-degree temperatures back in Illinois. I got down here, it was like in the mid 70s. I was in heaven, it's pretty cool. But if you have enough people doing that all at the same time, that can drive prices up because you just have so many new residents coming all at once, and it's because they're just tired of where they're living now, and therefore they're just eating up a lot of the rentals that are available in the area you're looking at. Versus in the summertime, you might not have as many people moving here all at once, therefore there might be a little bit more inventory to choose from, and therefore you might get a little bit better deal on the rent. But I have to say the difference is probably going to be very, very minimal. Maybe $100 a month, maybe $200 a month. I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you, but in Florida it really isn't a lot. So I would say in my 11 years of real estate experience, this whole thing is mostly a myth. You can move here any time of the year if you're going to be living here long term and you're going to be just starting a new life. You plan on living here at least a few years. If you're looking for that kind of place, you're probably not going to end up paying more no matter what time of year you come. This can vary depending on which area of Florida you're talking about. I'm going to have full disclosure here. I only work in Miami Beach as a real estate agent. I don't help people move to Florida in other areas of the Florida like the West Coast or even north of here. Nothing like that. I'm very niche when it comes to my real estate business, and I only work in this area. So this could be different in other parts of Florida, and if you have firsthand experience with that, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that the time of year you move here is going to have a major impact on how much you're going to pay in rent. Only if you're going to be moving here for short term, 3 to 6 months out of the year, because there are a lot of seasonal workers that come here. We have this very famous restaurant down in South Beach, which you might have heard of if you've been to South Beach, called Joe's Stone Crabs. They're only open for like 4 or 5 months out of the year during stone crab season. I've had a couple of clients from there, and they literally come here from up north. They'll live down here for 6 months out of the year. Some of those guys make over $100,000 a year just waiting tables at that restaurant, which I'm blown away. They make more money than me, so that's pretty awesome. My official advice, move to Florida whenever you can, whenever it feels right for you, whenever you have all your ducks in a row, whenever you have a place, whenever you have a job, when all that stuff comes together, that's when you move to Florida. Don't worry about the time of year. Take my word for it. And hanging out with you is so fun here, and that's why I really want to keep on hanging out with you, but the only way for us to do that is for you guys to click on one of these videos right over here, and I will see you guys over there in that video.